You are now part of a social experiment.
See now where my limit is. Only got no.
We can't not discuss One Crazy Summer. That was my introduction to you, and now I'm like hooked and everything. So with One Crazy Summer, the interesting component of that is the one of the main characters, their mother Cecile, is she's the one she's the parent that left and walked away. Like, so we usually do not, obviously this is a reality for a lot of children, but we usually do not see this reality in a book or in movies or in anything like that. So what made you want to go with that route, the mother leaving and not the father?
Because I felt the father's brokenheartedness first. Even surrounded by his daughters, I felt a sense of just loss. And when I thought about the mother, well, I knew she was going to be a poet, and how was she going to do that and have three children and a mate that she would have to do for. And I thought about where she came from and how broken her life was because it was broken into. And I thought, well, how can she truly give to these children? I knew that Delphine would be the responsible one. And I knew that that would be not because it's a tradition that the oldest African American child is the responsible one, which is, you know, that's just a basic truth. But I needed to understand, like, why she is the way she is, and what has been put upon her, and why she feels so it, that so wedded to it, um, um, that so much so that she almost loses a part of her own girlhood. Well, she is losing part of her own girlhood because she's not experiencing joy and laughter in the same way that the other two younger sisters do, even with all their fighting and squabbles. They're kids, whereas she doesn't have the luxury of being a kid, even though you can see that she's still a child. She doesn't know it all, but she's doing the best with what she's got, and she is standing up straight, and except when she's like toe to toe with her mother, and then she becomes a little girl trying to stand up to her mother, but yet she can't. I wanted the mother to be separated from, for her to pick up and leave, because I thought, this is a thing of desperation. It's not just that she wants to be gone. It's that maybe if she stayed, she knew she would be destructive toward her children because she wasn't a whole person within herself. And a lot of us, we go through postpartum depression, or we have some awful thing that interrupts our childhood, and so we don't get to be that fully formed person, and yet it doesn't stop us from having children. And when you're not whole and able to nurture, it has to affect the children and their own development. And so for me to create this family where the daughter is like a de facto mother, I had to get rid of the mother without killing her.
Mm-hmm. That makes sense. That makes sense. Now, another key component in One Crazy Summer, obviously, is the Black Panthers. So Cecile is connected with the Black Panthers, and there's a thing in there that I really really didn't think about before in depth. And it's this whole dynamic with the Black Panthers, because we know from history, the Black Panthers are for the community. They're trying to build, community and revolutionize everything and protect Black people and do all that. But at the same time, you have this dilemma of Black Panthers that were running from police, and when the FBI caught up to them and it was dangerous, they were going to live in apartments together and pretty much leaving their families. And it's this whole dilemma that I'm seeing, within the book, and as well as like within the Black Panthers that I'm kind of thinking about. And you grew up during the time frame of Black Panthers. You went to a few of their breakfast programs and things of that sort. So what was your take on this whole dilemma that Black Panthers face, in your book and just in general when it comes to abandoning their families and their children and things like that in order to do what they had to do for the revolution?
Exactly. You said it. You said it at the end, for the revolution, for the cause. Everybody in the community was the family. You couldn't like you had your own family, but the idea was that everybody was the family. And so if you had to pick up and go there, your family was being taken care of over there. Your children might be over here, whereas you and the mother might be on the run or whatever they're over there. So the idea was that the community was the family. The Black Panther community was the family, and not the traditional American model: mother, father, sister, brother. Even though those components were there, but it had to take on a larger role. There was one of the things that I wanted to do with the Black Panthers, keeping in mind that I'm writing for fourth graders, at the very least fourth graders, I thought, was to suggest that, yes, these are all of these things that they are instilling in the community, trying to protect the community and build up the community and so forth. But there's problems, there's issues, there's division, there's infiltration, there's some things that we might not agree with, so that becomes Delphine's job to kind of look around and say, on one hand, wow, they're doing this. And then on the other hand, but I don't like seeing those guns. So it's her job to say that, yeah, there is this larger goal, but there's also these things that I see that I think might not be good for me and my sisters. And so in that way, I get to prepare the young reader for when they're reading the next book up, say, whether it's Kekla Magoon or, and she also has a reference, a great nonfiction tool. Oh goodness. And the revolution. So I'm blanking out. Anyway, but when they get to more material, that they can see that, okay, yes, it's not just all a one-sided thing. It's kind of complicated, and there's a lot of forces at work. So I try to write the book for the person in the fourth grade and to leave some doors open for growth, because the thing, the ideas you're going to be exposed to more. And so I have to leave those possibilities for more and more complex there without confusing them. That's why you have a crazy Kelvin.
So every day I'm going hard. I'm talking business, bank accounts, and credit cards. And somehow we defeat the odds and making sure that no one's starved illegal or you had a job.